we are here at Universal Studios. Today we're doing the VIP experience. Got a little held up at parking because I wasn't quite sure where to go, but you do get VIP valet free parking, so make sure you go to the Jurassic parking area. I'll put that map below. It's on Universal Studios Boulevard, so it's a little bit hard to find out depending on what entrance you usually come through or what freeway exit you take. We get lunch today, we get the Backlot Tour access, we get front of the line, and I think we do get breakfast also. Let's go ahead and head in and have a great day. This is my first time doing the VIP experience. I'm so excited for it. Let's just jump right in. So this is the Jurassic parking area where they have the VIP valet parking. Even if you come on a regular day and you want valet parking, you would come here. It's like I showed you on the map from the Universal Studios Boulevard entrance. So don't go through the other entrance, I forgot the name. And as you walk by, you basically come through like the Skechers up to the AMC. And then once you get past security, this is the VIP entrance next to guest services. There we go, thank you.
And had you have the original ticket that you're upgrading from?
No, I'm a pass holder. Do you need that one?
Yes, if you have the...
Once you check in, you are sent upstairs to the VIP lounge. They have a ton of amazing artwork and stills and photos from all the movies that Universal has worked on in the both in the parks and I guess just in general. And it's a pretty nice area. It's a lot different than what you would expect or see from a typical theme park or just Universal Studios. There you see a group has already gathered for their tour. My tour wasn't until 11:15, so I had some time. I made a wrong turn, but I came to the bathroom area where they had this little Scarface setup with some props and original scripts, and they have a little excerpt about the movie or what you are seeing essentially on the wall. Heading back out, you do go down the hallway where you will find breakfast, more pictures and stills, some of the awards that have been won by shows, and the lounge and patio area.
All right.
Wow.
Welcome. So everyone's name Vince, is that?
Universal really makes you feel like a VIP because we have this nice balcony we get to look over. They have some breakfast set up, some pastries, some croissants, a nice lounge area, coffee, drinks. Everything looks great. Let's go ahead and have a bite to eat. Lunch is going to be about 2:15 or 2:30 they said. We'll enjoy that later. We get a chance to roam around the park, whatever you want to do really until your actual tour time. Mine is at 11:15. They did say to be back like 15 minutes before that. They did give us a poncho as well for Jurassic World, so I really appreciate that. I don't usually use one, but you know, it's a nice gesture also. And yeah, here we are. They really make you feel like a VIP when their napkins say VIP. Their coffee cozies make you say VIP. Got both of the croissant sandwiches. One is, I think it was ham and cheese, and the other one was a smoked salmon. So, something simple, definitely a good breakfast. One of the tour guides was telling another group or someone, eat as much as you want, so you can get your money's worth just off the food, that's for sure. Soft croissant, good amount of filling. What's there to complain about? It's going to be a good day. Since we have some time until lunch, I wanted to get another one of those salmon croissants. It's actually really good. I really like. They have cucumber in there, some fresh greens, microgreens. I think there's like cream cheese also in it. And then I got the raspberry cream cheese Danish. The coffee though, don't expect much from it. I got a cappuccino, super bitter, not a big fan of it. Let me just say, just because you're on a VIP experience and there are extra hands on deck, don't be a slob, don't leave a mess. I mean, I'm sitting at these tables and I mean, people are leaving half-eaten food and crumbs and all of that everywhere. Be respectful. One of my favorite quotes from a movie, it was Made in Manhattan, when Jennifer Lopez's character is getting fired from the hotel. Her manager says, although we serve them, we are not their servants. So please have that mentality whenever you are in a place where there are extra help and extra guides and just people around you to make your experience better. That doesn't mean you can abuse them and, you know, treat the area like this, because it's still something, it's still property, it's still maintained by a cleaning crew or a service crew or something. But yeah, just wanted to get that out of the way. I already tried the salmon. Let's go ahead and try the raspberry cream cheese. The pastry is a little bit more dense, but it's soft. The raspberry is sweet, it's a really thick jam, but the cream cheese offers a nice balance to it. Something light, something good. Yeah, good choice. If you are a pass holder, you do not get the discounts online, which is kind of unfortunate. The discounts vary depending on what day and what pass time you have, but you can come into the park, they can look up your pass, and depending on what day, you know, you get that type of discount. You can book it as far out in advance as they have the calendar out. So I booked this about 2 weeks ago, the last time I was here at Universal Studios. They gave me my discount. It was a pretty good discount, let me just say that. It was a huge difference. I think today the normal price was like $379 and I paid $205 if I remember correctly. And you can't check over the phone either, so you do have to do it in person, but just make sure you do get that discount if you are a pass holder. Aside from meal times, I didn't really vlog the rest of the day, unfortunately. I was just trying to capture all the moments, and really for all the rides, you've seen these a million times, either in my previous videos or just in general Universal Studios. And let me cut here for a moment.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing down there? Look at that hat! Where do I get a hat like that? Oh man, that is nice. Get shop out here, people.
This ride, you're all gonna be stray puppies going to the adoption fair. We'll see if we can't get you adopted. You're gonna be riding in pairs.
So that was Snowball interacting with our tour guide Zan, because he did look very dapper today. And then he does give like a little brief rundown of what the ride will be like in case people have any fears or issues with motion and whatnot. He kind of just gives you a little warning or heads up of what to expect and what the ride will be about. And as you are walking, you can ask questions, you can talk to him, chat with him. He'll give you history and facts and info about Universal Studios, the movies, the rides, anything really in general to do with Universal Studios. And we just hop from ride to ride. Generally, it's a walk-on with the Express. There were a couple rides that had an actual different VIP entrance for us. I think the Mummy was one of them, but I can't recall exactly which others. Besides that, we usually just go through the Express line, and I think Secret Life of Pets had the longest wait for us, which was maybe 5 minutes, and that's because the regular queue joins the Express line. And here for Despicable Me, I guess it was kind of a long wait, but that's because they have that little pre-show area where you do watch Gru and the Minions and kind of get a sense of what to expect from the ride. But as you are about to see, we do beat a ton of crowds. This was on a Friday, so it wasn't too busy even with spring break going on. I think the longest wait for rides was maybe 50 to 60 minutes. So even if you come on a regular day, it's not terrible. And going through Waterworld, it does look like a big crowd, but they do have plenty of space. This was the Express Lane or VIP entrance queue, and the seats were in the middle bleachers, so we had a perfect view of all of Waterworld. And this is one of my favorite things to come see. No matter how many times I see it, I still love it. And as you can see, we have a pretty great center view shot of everything, so perfect view for the plane crash and everything else going on.
right up here. To the northeast, you can see Warner Brothers Studios, all those big beige buildings. That's their studio lot. Right behind them, the little office building with the dark triangle shape on top of it, that's Walt Disney Studios, or at least part of it, the part that's visible from here. And then, of course, there's us here at Universal. And our property is everything that's on this side of the golf course, stretching all the way to the large airplane hangar.
Remember that poncho they gave you for Jurassic World? Definitely wear that. It must have been a while since I've been on it because I am soaked. The first drop wasn't too bad. The last drop wasn't bad. The second small drop after you go up and you see like the raptors and before the Indominus and T-Rex battle, that's where all the water just plummeted on us. It's like a waterfall all over. So it's okay. It's a warm day, but just be warned. Luckily I have my bag and put my phone and everything on there. Yeah, I'm a little soaked. So Zan, our tour guide, was very kind enough to actually capture this moment in slow-mo on his iPhone, and he just airdropped it to us. So there we are in the first few rows. We actually didn't get too wet in this moment, but like I mentioned, that second drop was where we got soaked, and unbelievably soaked. I was shocked. So we finished up in the lower lot, and then we were gonna head back up to the upper lot. I did not go on Flight of the Hippogriff, which I'll talk about in just a moment. Flight of the Hippogriff and Forbidden Journey do mess with my stomach and motion sickness for some reason. I don't know why. Those are the only two rides I don't do at Universal Studios. But yeah, along the way, again, like I mentioned, just info, facts, history, chatting with other people. Well, not really other people in my group, sadly. Nobody seemed to be as enthusiastic about the park as I was, or even the studio tour later on, which got me thinking, why are you even doing the VIP experience if you can just come on a regular day? And I did forget to mention the VIP passes do have a barcode similar to any other express pass, so you do scan those each time you go through the line. But yeah, I definitely recommend this for people who actually do have that excitement and thrill and joy and enthusiasm and curiosity for filmmaking and films in general. Otherwise, why spend so much more money if it's just another regular day at the theme park? We are in Wizarding World of Harry Potter. The group went on the Flight of the Hippogriff. Before lunch we had some time to kill, so we went on this. We are returning to the Wizarding World later for the other Harry Potter ride. I am not going on these two. For some reason, Flight of the Hippogriff just doesn't sit well with me. And then the Quidditch broomstick ride, whatever, I always forget the name, but the other Harry Potter ride, that just completely ruins my day. So definitely not going on that later. I think we just have the tour after lunch, I could be mistaken, and then the Animal Actors show, but still plenty of the day left, and it's definitely a great time. I'll have a full debrief later on. So, and now it was time for lunch. This is in the French Pavilion at the Moulin Rouge building. I'm sure if you've been to Universal Studios, you have probably seen this and wondered what goes on, where people go in and out. I'm sure they host private events in there too, but yes, this is the VIP lunch area. It is a lunch buffet. We did have lunch at 2:20 and we have an hour, so you can eat or just hang out there for the whole hour. You can go back out and do whatever. Our meeting place was outside. There is Doc welcoming us in. Thank you, Doc. There you are. There are kind of three seating areas. There is this first area that is completely indoors. There's the outdoor patio, which I am about to go to, and I believe I showed later on another outdoor patio that kind of lines up with the theme park itself, so you have a lot of that noise from the crowd, but this patio is amazing. It's covered. I think there's heat lamps too, so when it does get cooler, but it was a beautiful day. Amazing views. I highly recommend sitting out here. I don't know why you'd want to be cooped up inside anyway, unless the weather was bad, but again, they let you know you are a VIP with the VIP logos on the napkins. And heading back inside, let's take a look at the buffet. There are a ton of options: salads, fruits, produce, cheeses, baked goods, fresh desserts, gelato, cupcakes, creme brulee, cheesecake. We have some tri-tip, risotto, poke, shrimp scampi, chicken tenders, and mac and cheese for the kids, bread rolls, just anything and everything your heart desires, and it's all you can eat, so why not splurge and get your money's worth.
Alright, it's finally lunchtime, guys. Amazing spread. They have a ton of different options, no matter if you're 5, 50, 100 years old, whatever there is. Different mixture of things. We got some poke, cucumber salad, lobster risotto. I was surprised to see that. And I'm curious if it's lobster or langostino. It's langostino, but it's so good. For a theme park, it's actually pretty good risotto. Got a little bit of the chili salmon. It's actually really good. Huge difference from the normal theme park food. Don't always expect that, but it's definitely a good difference. The ahi poke. A little heavy on the soy sauce, but it's good. The cantaloupe and prosciutto. So we're given an hour for lunch. We can pretty much stay here, eat till you pop, do whatever you want. You can go back out, roam around, meet some of the characters, whatever you want to do or can do. We do have a meeting spot for at the end of the hour at 3:20, and we just meet back with our tour guide. Like I mentioned earlier, we have the last Harry Potter ride, and then of course the studio tour to go on also. That's definitely why I'm here, and I'm excited for that. And this whole patio is beautiful. I love this area. It's calm, even with all the people here. It's not packed, it's not overcrowded. You definitely have space. Because I'm alone, I have my own table, so that's nice too. It's not an experience being a pass holder that I would do every month. Maybe twice a year, depending on what mood I'm in. I don't know if they have options of just doing the VIP studio tour, because the ride's no big deal for me to go on all the time. You don't come to the parks often, or if you're like a tourist visiting, I definitely recommend doing the VIP tour. I got the fruit tart, the cheesecake, and a chocolate chip cookie. The cookie is kept on like a warming tray, and I'm excited for that one. Got a cappuccino also to drink. Not bad. The custard isn't too sweet. The fruit is fresh. The pie shell is like a light, crispy shortbread cookie. That's good. This coffee is a lot better than the one I had earlier at the VIP lounge for breakfast. I think the cookie sat a little bit too long on that warming tray. It's a little bit too crispy for my liking. I like crispy, but I was expecting it to be more gooey, but a little bit too crispy. And when I mean crispy, because I just said I like crispy, it's been sitting too long. Maybe if they make a fresh batch, it'll be better, but not too sweet. Good chocolate chunks. Lastly, we got the New York cheesecake. It's good, nice thin crust. I usually like a thick crust, but let's see how it is. Actually pretty good. My only complaint about this, I wish the crust was thicker. I like a really good crust to go with the cheesecake, but the cheesecake itself isn't bad.
And I just had to show you how fancy the bathrooms are. I mean, this is not your theme park bathroom, so definitely check it out, even if you don't have to go. Fair warning though, there's only 2 stalls or bathrooms, so it might be a little bit of a wait. Just be ready for that.
Don't make the same mistake I did and walk out without getting some gelato. I got the cherry and vanilla. Looks good. That's good gelato too. They also have a mango sorbet.
So now we met back up after lunch. We are heading to the Backlot Tour. We go through the main studio tour entrance, and as you're about to see, it was a 40-minute wait on this day. Again, not too bad of a day. A few weeks prior, I was here on a Saturday, and it was like a 180-minute wait. Like, this isn't Rise of the Resistance, y'all can just chill out on it, but I definitely understand it's a great experience. And this was our bus. The other tour group was already there. This is where we met with Chris.
Those of you who have been traveling with Zan today, my name is Chris. Those of you with me, that is Zan. And together we will take you to the biggest movie studio there is. We will hop from that seat to this seat. We'll get you up and out and walk around. The way we get there on this trolley, the captain of this ship, his name is Sage. Everybody say, hi, Sage.
Hi, Sage.
That was like class right there. That's perfect. So on behalf of all of us, welcome aboard. I saw a lot of you looking at the folks waiting in line over here on the right. I can see how badly you feel for all of them. They are waiting for the tram tour that's been around. We've had a tour here since the mid-1960s. They haven't been waiting that long, but we have a tram that will take general admission guests and also people with express tickets around the movie studio for about 45 minutes to an hour. We will see everything that they do, but a lot more. And we'll get out and walk around. We will show you sets from Spider-Man, Batman, Captain America, Austin Powers. We'll show you stuff from classic films like To Kill a Mockingbird and Psycho. And also our genre of expertise, the horror film. Original sets from Dracula, Frankenstein, The Wolfman, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Phantom of the Opera, The Invisible Man, which are still used to this day. Down below is your first opportunity to see the movie studio. If you can't get a good photo from here, don't worry, because Sage is driving us down there now. Down below are sets from those Marvel and DC movies, and also a lot of great Disney films shot here too. Princess Diaries, there was a great version of Cinderella with Brandy and Whitney Houston. We'll show you sets from all of that. Now the reason that Zan and I will talk about other movie companies, this is the biggest studio by far. And as a result, we're not just a production facility, we're also a rental facility. So we're happy when Paramount and Warner Brothers and 20th Century Fox and Columbia, Disney all do well, because they will come here and work on their projects on this lot. So we're gonna be happy to talk about anything. Or if we pass by something and you think you recognize it and we haven't talked about it, interrupt us at any point. You can take photos wherever you like, and if you want us to photograph you in front of something, hand your phone or your camera over to us and we're happy to do it. Here's a little universal history. This movie timeline. There are posters which are just a few examples of some of the more than 10,000 films we've been involved in over the years, and dates right above them to give you that timeline. As I mentioned early on, a lot of monster movies. Now we still do the occasional horror film, but as you can see throughout the years, we have diversified to action spectaculars, comedies, and dramas. But you'll see with Creature from the Black Lagoon and Psycho and Jaws and the Halloween films. We didn't do the original one, but we've done several others, including the reboots that are happening right now. We have another Halloween film with Jamie Lee Curtis that is being worked on as we speak. Oh, wait, he's talking right over here. Sure! There we go. I will not be doing that. One quick thing, a couple of safety tips for you. We've been shooting there over the last decade. Scarface with Al Pacino, Tony Montana's mansion built inside of that building. Whoville from The Grinch, just to name a few things. Over on the left, the main gates for the movie studio. Right there they are. If you're Steven Spielberg or Julia Roberts, that's where you're coming in to go to work. More gray and tan soundstage buildings. These are a little bit smaller. And also on the right-hand side, construction to Super Nintendo World. So this should be every inch of this lot, no matter what, for filmmaking. That parking structure is a parking structure. meant for the movie executives on the second Jurassic Park film, The Lost World. That was a cliff. Most of the tour is in this area where you are going to recognize sets from said movies like Spider-Man, Batman, Captain America, Austin Powers, all of those things I mentioned earlier. We held here for just a second. Thank you so much. And Dick Tracy, Disney painted everything blue, red, green, yellow. It looked like a comic book. Elvis Presley wrapped up his movie career on this street, shooting his last film here.
Perfect. Anybody? Yeah, come on up, guys. Coming in from Batman or whatever it might be, or Gremlins. I mentioned this was Kingston Falls. This was artificial snow everywhere. It was taking place during Christmas time. Oh, let's move over this way. And right when the production of Gremlins was done, it was turned into Hill Valley 1955 for Back to the Future. Let's walk up to the courthouse. So all of this, trees get moved, grass gets taken up and put back down.
You mentioned they use live trees. Why is that? Why not just put artificial trees?
They do. They do both. In this one right here, to have sort of a permanent look, there are live trees and bushes.
Right.
But let's say you want cherry blossoms or wisteria or whatever, they'll bring artificial trees.
Okay,
that way it
gotcha.
looks the same every and
Yeah.
all episodes. Okay, wait. Just stop right about this area. And as you can see, the columns are tied up with rope. That's why I don't want to walk in there. But yeah, go on up and check out the original front. And again, what a dramatic change. Tap on the material. It looks good, but it's not what it appears to be.
Yeah.
Now, when Paramount was done with Ghost Whisperer, they were supposed to take this front off so we would expose the columns once again. And by the way, there was a big star at the end of that film who was not a big star at that point. He was a contract player under contract with Universal. They used to just hire a whole bunch of people and like, oh, you're going to be a maid or you're going to be a clerk or whatever. You didn't have to audition them. They were just under contract. And he got fired from Universal because he was told that his squint and his Adam's apple wasn't very photogenic. It was Clint Eastwood. He plays a fighter pilot who dumps napalm on the giant tarantula. The last like 3 minutes of that movie. Well, now here they just scraped, I don't know how many layers of paint off, and then the primer color, and now they're painting it brick once again. So whatever they're going to shoot, probably they want the courthouse to look a little newer. We won't do this for maintenance reasons. It's because somebody's going to come in and use this. Kenan Thompson's new show, Kenan, they film out here all of the time as well. So when one show goes on hiatus or when a movie is done, it's up for rental once again. There are exceptions to that rule. We have a neighborhood that we call Colonial Street. When Desperate Housewives was shot by ABC and Disney, they exclusively rented the street for all 8 seasons. So nothing, not a commercial, nothing could be filmed down there. And if they didn't want us to bring tours down there, we weren't able to do that. When we round this corner, this is probably the most utilized street on the lot. It's Gotham City in Batman films. It's been New York in almost every Spider-Man movie. Los Angeles for movies like Earthquake and Transformers. It was Seattle for Harry and the Hendersons. It was used in Captain America, the First Avenger as the 1940s. Oops, sorry, but in Dick Tracy, this is the area they painted blue and red and green and yellow. Dirty Harry, it's San Francisco. In CSI, it's Las Vegas. In our Purge movies, it was downtown LA. It was a city in Texas in the last Purge film. In musicals like Newsies, shot down in this street. Annie finds her dog Sandy at the end of that street. And feel free, like, look at the big stone on this building. Just all of plastic, fiberglass. These street lamps are props, and they're sitting right over these little squares. So whatever they're filming next, that's what this is for. And and they'll just plug it right in at the bottom there. You put an old gas lamp or nothing at all. I guess the disadvantage would be sound because your voice is going to bounce everywhere. But for realism, you get that one steady shot of an actor going in and out, or you're filming inside and you've got the hustle and bustle of the city outside. One Super Bowl commercial that I actually a number of them that I really liked that they shot here. There was a video game commercial where they had destroyed part of the street, had tanks out here. It looked awesome. But there's a Budweiser commercial with the Clydesdales. It took place in about 1910. They had tons of people in the pub. That looked awesome too. And none of that was computer animated. All dressed. Clydesdales were real. The wagon was real. Painted backdrop over there.
God, it's incredible. Thank you so much.
Do you want me to get a photo of you on the steps?
If you don't mind.
I don't mind. I'll put you in a good spot.
Do you know what the exact
Yes,
steps?
I do.
Yeah.
I'll put you in the right spot. So first, stand.
So at first we were dropped off on like the New York Street area, but I really wanted to get up close to Brownstone Street where they filmed Bruce Almighty, Home Alone, I believe Jingle All the Way, and some other films in this area too. And I asked Chris, can we walk over there? So he took us there, and he was also kind enough to take my pictures on the actual steps.
This was London for Austin Powers in the 60s and the 90s.
Now I thought about adding additional clips of what scenes and what movies were filmed at each of these locations, but it was going to make the video way too long, so stay tuned for another video on my channel showing the comparisons of these sets with those scenes. And there are a ton of movies that weren't mentioned, and I didn't realize that I found that afterwards, so it will take some time for me to gather all of them and really try to pair up each of these areas because I wasn't that prepared, which was my mistake.
Musical newsies. He doesn't want to be reminded of that. Yeah, that's not down here. This alleyway right there on the right, that was seen in the Fate of the Furious. We had Vin Diesel talking about these cars. And then Chris was talking about Spider-Man 2. And while the diner right behind me was used for Doc Ock throwing a car through the window, who'd have thunk it, right across the street was the theater where Mary Jane performed in The Importance of Being Earnest. Tobey Maguire was trying to go see her in the show, but he wasn't allowed to leave the theater, so he was running late. Very funny scene with Bruce Campbell in the theater out here.
Monsters and creatures from prehistoric times. We got cooler picture cards than that. But typically speaking, the cooler a picture card looks in a movie, the higher the probability that there's something worth kind of thinking about them. Like Tom Selleck's Ferrari from FBI over there actually has a Volkswagen engine underneath the hood. What's up with that? Well, very much like our facade sets that we just showed you in our Metropolitan sets, appearances are everything here in Hollywood, so as long as the car looks really expensive, there's no need to waste unnecessary expense over what's underneath the hood. Now sometimes we can fake it with some visual effects. Like the gyrosphere here from Jurassic World. What's missing from that? I don't know if that's related, but it's true. We can head north of the border into some of the oldest sets on Universal Lot. This is 6 Points, Texas. Back in the early days of the studio, the Western was our bread and butter. We film about 250 movies every year on these streets. And while the golden age of the Western has moseyed into the sunset, at least for now, we do still use these sets regularly. For recent examples, you can check out Disney's The Call of the Wild, starring Harrison Ford. Practically right here on this road, where Harrison Ford first meets the dog Indy in The Call of the Wild. So it was an Alaskan trading outpost. And this movie takes place in the 1960s, and this was used as a TV show set of a Western in the 1960s. As we do 6 Points, let's see to our left, some of our newest sound stages on the other side of the lake. 24 to 27, that's where the voices are filmed.
Yeah, like out and they have like they have like a bunch of chairs right here and they're like doing like presentations in there.
Hey guys, we're gonna just gather right around here. I think Zam's gonna take off from this spot.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we'll get it. We'll walk all over, but wait till we got everybody. So we haven't really put it on our Peacock streaming platform yet. And Germany, and just like our Metropolitan sets, it all came down to how we decorate. You know, different street lights out here, maybe the design of the awnings on the windows, and most importantly, the flag that you have on the outside of the building. And we got to thinking, since movie sets are expensive, we could probably use this in really any production that requires Europe. Do we have anybody visiting from Europe today? Yeah, we do. Does this look like home at all? It's okay. It's okay to say no. Everybody says no, and largely it's because it's not really decorated to look like home. Right now it's decorated to look like The Good Place, which wrapped up production a few years ago. And also, much like our Metropolitan sets, it's still missing a lot of the little things that we're going to have out here. But we have dressed this up to look like a number of different places, whether it be Germany and The Good German with George Clooney. This has been Spain for running of the bull sequences in productions like City Slickers starring Billy Crystal, as well as Night and Day with Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz. My Americans might remember a Geico commercial, the running of the bulldogs that came out here. Yeah, that was a big deal back when it was on the air. And a few other favorites I want to tell you about, and actually more so I want to show you about. There's a specific set up the road here that the regular tram never even gets to see, so follow me up the stairs. Watch you step on the curb here. You'll notice down to the left, we're doing construction. We're building more sound stages. We already have our mind on the 2028 Summer Olympics, even though they're like still 6.5 years away. They're going to be hosted here in Los Angeles, and our flagship network, NBC, is the national broadcaster of the Olympics here in America, so we're going to have a huge influx of production in a few years, and so we're already getting a head start on it. Here in Flower Alley, you'll notice the door on the left is open, revealing what the interior of some of our facades look like. A lot of wood, kind of like a garage or attic space. So we're definitely going to want to make sure we close that door before cameras are rolling, since most of these are also facades like our Metropolitan set.
You can't run. Oops, how you were walking.
We do have a practical set here on the corner. This was the main yogurt shop in The Good Place, so they did actually film inside of it. Back when the show was filming, they actually had a whole menu on the wall of silly flavors of frozen yogurt you could get there, like a Beyonce concert, or fresh laundry, or a fully charged phone battery. I don't know what that would taste like, but they had it. So yeah, this is what I wanted you to see. I want to talk briefly about location scouting, a very long and arduous process. In the early days of cinema, budgets were tight. We didn't really know if there was any money to be found in movie making. And so we needed to be able to save money by filming every scene right here on the studio lot. And that's why our backlot consists of so many different looking locations. And nowadays, the biggest movies have budgets upwards of $200 million. They can film anywhere. But they'll still try to film on the lot if they can, just because it's more convenient. So, with that said, Disney came here 20 years ago looking for a set for Pirates of the Caribbean for the town of Port Royal, and they found everything they needed here, except one thing was missing: a blacksmith shop. And so they built it right here into this corner, a little Europe. But you'd remember this exterior early in the first Pirates film when Johnny Depp's Jack Sparrow is running away from the Redcoats, and he's hiding behind a statue right here in this alcove, and as soon as the Redcoats come down these stairs, he steals a sword from the statue, and he goes right through these big doors, and that's where he meets Orlando Bloom for the first time. Now, with the doors open, you can see that this is, in fact, another one of our facades. There's not nearly enough room in there to film everything that they did for Pirates, but with the donkey pulling in the middle, and the rafters high above for the sword fighting, all of that set was built in stage 2 over at Disney Studios, just a quick 15-minute drive east of here. And it's up to the editor to make sure that those two shots of them walking in here and then walking in over there look like one location, and the script supervisor. We all have that friend that's an unofficial script supervisor, paying less attention to what the actors are saying and paying more attention to how much water's in their glass as the camera cuts back and forth between shots. That continuity is all covered by a script supervisor. So I remember, even to this day, as a kid watching an episode of Power Rangers, the Red Ranger, he was like at the gym working out and he was wearing a tank top and he was having a conversation with someone, and every time the camera cut back to him, his necklace was outside his shirt and then it was tucked into his shirt and then it was out again. Script supervisor messed up that day. They messed up so bad that I still remember 30 years later. So in this case, whichever hand Johnny Depp uses to open the door and the foot he steps in the building with, that's the same hand and foot he has to use at Disney, which can be so tricky to keep track of because they might be filming that other scene weeks or even months apart. So yeah, script supervisor, we salute you. Now normally, once you finish production and you've changed our set, we'll ask you to return it as you found it. But this was actually an upgrade to our set, so they left it here and it even got incorporated into the Good Place a couple of times. So yeah, it's still here, and that worked out for Disney since they did come back here to film Pirates 2 and 3. But not just this set, they used the whole street. When the first film, early on, the Pirates kidnap Keira Knightley's character, it's a nighttime action sequence, that was all filmed out here. While we're in this corner, I also want to give a shout out to a cult comedy classic, Adam Sandler's You Don't Mess With the Zohan. This was Lebanon in the opening.
Oh my God.
We had Adam Sandler stunt up crashing out of a glass window in an archway that was here. And he landed right on that sewer and made a balloon animal out of rocks for the children. It's one of the stupidest movies, and I say that with so much love.
I love that movie.
So
I love it.
That's funny.
Yeah, speaking of the sewer, this is just fully concrete. That doesn't open at all. And this cobblestone is also just concrete. We kept the fancy stuff for the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, but out here, almost like a giant cookie cutter, we can just press sheets of, for little indentations of cobblestone out of cement, and we'll paint it up for extra texture. It's a lot cheaper to maintain than the real thing. A couple other shortcuts that we did. Little things. The forced perspective that we use, you'll notice the windows on this building with the awnings, the windows are almost identical, but the windows on the third floor, a little bit smaller than the windows on the second floor. So I can make these look just a little bit bigger. And the same thing with the scaling of the road itself. The road's a lot wider down here where the fountain is compared to how it tapers off as it rounds the corner there. So the street does look considerably longer when the camera's down that way. And that's why the street also bends that way to let it imply that the set continues. Not so much you point this way. You got those ugly satellites in the shot, immersion's kind of ruined. So these sets were definitely designed for filmmaking, camera angles already in mind. But come with me down this way to a location for your production. Hopefully we already have a set that kind of works with your vision with slight modifications. And so this little alleyway, you'll notice that the architecture changes fairly drastically to have more of an Eastern European look to it. So, yeah, you've seen this dressed up as different things. This has been, this was Egyptian Bazaar in The Scorpion King, Dwayne Johnson's very first starring role in a movie. That's right, I was out here. This was also Tortuga for Pirates of the Caribbean. Mr. Gibbs was sleeping in the corner with the pigs, where Johnny Depp throws a bucket of water on him. Bad luck to Wicked Man when he's sleeping. This was also an erect base camp, Jarhead, Jake Gyllenhaal and Jamie Foxx. So, yeah, a lot of mileage that you can get out of these sets done in-house decorating. Of all of Little Europe, that part lot, to be honest, historical significance. This is all started with Dracula back in 1932, 31, excuse me. And it was such a surprise hit at the studio.
You're fine.
To be honest, our founder, Carl Linda, didn't think it was going to be a hit. He's like, why do people want to pay money to get scared? But his son saw these impressions.
on Bel Air, which is a reboot and a spin-off of Fresh Prince of Bel Air, but instead of a comedy, this one's more dramatic. In front of us, another one of our sound stages. This is not a 3D attraction. You don't need glasses for this. This one is our subway station set today. It's a BART station. One in San Francisco, Bay Area Rapid Transit. That is so easy to change without structurally making changes, just the signage. So on the screen above your head is a scene from the series Bones. There we go. So this is the same subway station, but for Bones they turned it into Washington, D.C. So they removed Embarcadero Plaza, San Francisco Airport, Bay Area, the waterfront exit, and replaced them with things that you would find in Washington, like Dulles Airport, DuPont Circle, Reagan National. Now the detail in this set is pretty fantastic. That's a real track system over on the left. You could really drive a train on that track. Over on the right, what is more?
Yeah, we're about to
That is the track. In Los Angeles, I would not, well, never too late to tip the hat. Second level coming in on your left. On your right, the ground is buckling. Front left, the Metro. Just like in any other disaster films, when you think you're safe, things get worse. Hold your breath. Anybody recognize that sign? Been waiting for this shark to work. Initially, there were so many problems. Initially, they had... Here comes the transition. From 3 non-working sharks to 4 desperate housewives. Wisteria Lane. Those of you who are Desperate Housewives fans will recognize almost every one of these houses. If you're not, how about a classic TV fan? Leave It to Beaver shot, the Munsters shot over on your left-hand side. That was 13 Mockingbird Lane. Where Susan lived in Desperate Housewives on your left in the Yellow House. The Hardy Boys lived there, so did the family from Lassie. And where Lynette lived over on your left-hand side. Ronald Reagan, Doris Day, James Garner, Rock Hudson all lived in that house. Right in front of us, Edie Britt's house from Desperate Housewives. Then it became Renee's. We did a series there a couple of years ago called Abby's about an illegal bar in the middle of a neighborhood. What was unusual, this was a multi-camera sitcom with an audience, but filmed outside. I had my fingers crossed for that series. Take a look at this dirt path over here. I want to show you what it looks like when it's all spruced up. Watch that scene once again. There's Susan from Desperate Housewives running right on the path. But in the background, all of the trees and the greenery, they look like a perfect color of green. Right before they start shooting, there's a special vegetable dye. They spray everything to look beautiful. And the trees and the plants, for the most part, silk and plastic. Leave It to Beaver shot over here. Ted 2, that's where Flash Gordon lived. I'm just naming a few things, by the way. You'd be here a long time to be told you about everything. But movies like Deep Impact and also The Burbs with Tom Hanks and Carrie Fisher filmed entirely on this street. This is it. Corey Feldman lived at the old Munsters house. Nancy Drew lived here, and so did Andy Griffith. So on the screen, starting with The Burbs, the same houses in different productions. Extremely modified vehicles coming up on your right-hand side. And also a few slipped in there from Mr. Bean's Holiday. We've got an old Chevrolet from Johnny Depp's film Public Enemies, in which he played John Dillinger, and the car right next to it is from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou with George Clooney. A couple of Transformers vehicles back there too, including a Decepticon right behind Bumblebee. Now, to my favorite spot on the lot. A bizarre transition from that, but from Hitchcock's masterpiece, Psycho. You're about to see sets that have not changed in 62 years. The Bates Motel, the house at the top where Norman and his mother lived. Oh, look who just popped out of that house.
We all go on a match.
Sage, let's hang tight for just a second because I think let's get some eerie music playing for this gentleman. Something not good is about to. That's what I thought. Be gentle, bonk. The good thing is he didn't spot us. Oops. Hey, Sage, maybe not waiting around us though. Wait a minute, hold on. Look at this. Zan, you taking us through this one? All right, now this is super important, guys. We have to stay close together. This one we can't sort of run all around because that's a real airplane, and there are real jagged edges. So be kind enough to just follow Zan right up.
Yeah, from the movie War of the Worlds. That got so
God, I love this set so much.
Isn't it cool?
It's incredible, absolutely incredible.
So how many of y'all have seen War of the Worlds? It's been a hot minute. Geez, what, 17 years already? For those who haven't seen it, this scene begins in the kids and they're hiding because they're hearing all of this happen. They don't see it happen though, and neither do we. Spielberg really wanted to keep audiences connected with the characters, so we're down in the basement with them. We only see what they see. The environment comes deadly quiet. Tom tells the kids, wait here, he's gonna go see what happened. He's the one that's not. This is not. So come admire this ridiculous set decoration with me. It is. So yeah, we've shown you a bunch of fake stuff on today's tour, like Rick Ross made of plastic and army things made out of plywood. There's only this set, this airplane, is actually faster, cheaper, and easier to buy an actual 747 and tear it up. I never realized how much went into the plane until I saw this all torn up. Like, just this giant swing on your actual plane. It'll take forever to try and construct from scratch. It's possible, but it's expensive. Buy this. This is where you get an airplane for an affordable price. You go to the airplane graveyard up in the Mojave Desert. 2.5–3 hours drive north of here. And they got this very old airplane. And I do mean old. Take a look at the armrests. When was the last time you saw ashtrays on an airplane? And I already see some of the special effects going off again. I'm going to warn you, there's going to be a loud crackling electric noise right over there. If you love destroyed houses, there you go, that's your shot. Now we have a crew that comes out about twice a year to remess everything up. Nature sort of has a way of cleaning itself up, what with, you know, rain and wind and stuff. And we'll repopulate this set with stuff from all over our lot. This police cruiser is one of over 100 that were destroyed for the Blues Brothers back in 1980. And in fact, that's why the license plate says Illinois. Blues Brothers was in Chicago for the World's this season in New Jersey. So then when the police doors say District of Columbia, Amy gets right back out. She did Johnson goes out. And that door was shot. But the manufacturer here some of the windows will say, like, we accept these credit cards, and won't It says Vista. It looks like Visa. It's got the same color, the same font. And if you looked at it real quick, you'd think it was Visa, but no, it's Vista. So they'll do that all the time. What iCarly, she had like a little hair on her laptop, right? And there was I think on Big Bang Theory, they drank Sprite instead of Sprite. So yeah, Great King goes a long way. Yeah, it looks like a shout out here is the log cabin. This log cabin is yeah, big reason why not so many production.
This vehicle is in serious danger. Other than that,
okay, so for the very last time. So, please, big round of applause. Thank you so much, Dave. Got us everywhere.
Enjoy the show. Yeah. Come on in, everyone. Come on in, everyone. What's up, buddy? I love you. Come on in.